you can't wait for all the stars to kind of align, you know?
Yeah, you'll be waiting forever.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
no, it's never going to be that perfect moment, you know, to like strike.
I know, but also but then I overcorrected because I didn't actually have a plan. You know, I moved to LA and I was my plan was just to crash from couch to couch till I figured it out.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a terrible plan, right? Because at the time I had like undiagnosed like severe sleep apnea,
Oh, okay.
and and I could feel it like weighing on my friend that I was on his couch just fucking shaking the walls, everything.
Just letting it loose.
Yeah, and one time they in a roundabout way asked me to leave, you know, and I'm like, yeah, I guess, you know, you can't just do this to all your friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I left and I went to the VA and I was like, I don't have anywhere to live. Y'all got some programs or something? And they were like, yep. And they directed me to this homeless shelter, and I lived in this shelter for like a year and a year and a half, almost
No
2
way.
years,
While you were doing comedy?
while I was doing comedy.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, I was on the street for like a day before I went to the VA. It was like, hey, this ain't working.
Just winning fast. Just like, let me
Yeah,
figure this out.
because and you know what was funny is like that whole experience really really upped my empathy. I think that made me better at comedy a little bit, you know, because you know, I think like when we think of homeless people as like basically like a separate species. The way people talk about, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And it's like certain stuff you take for granted, just like having all your stuff,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and you can't bring your stuff in most places. So it's like, imagine if you needed to just survive out of a bag or two duffels, right? It's like everywhere you go, you got to bring that shit with you, or somebody gonna steal it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to places that like you can't bring that shit in here. And so what are you gonna do with your stuff?
Yeah.
You know, that was just such a stressful situation. I was like, fuck this.
They didn't let you bring anything in.
No, certain places you couldn't bring like because I had a duffel and two big ass bags, like hands full of
All
like,
your clothes and shit.
yeah, you go to certain places like you can't bring yeah. And so anyway, they directed me to this shelter. And actually, I was in a couple of ones, but the one I settled in, I was there for quite some time, and then a couple months after being there, I got a job as a door guy at the Comedy Store, you know, and that let me hit. So there was like levels of privilege in the shelter, and once you got a job, you hit another level of privilege, you know, and then you had to.
So there's it's like a reward system for not just doing nothing.
Exactly. Well, you can't do nothing.
Yeah. To stay.
You know what's funny though? But some people could, and I think it was just because some people had like different problems, like mental problems or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, you couldn't do nothing, and then you know you had to get a job, and then the next level was you had to like you had to give them like your first couple of pay stubs, and then they would determine like you need to save, you know, 20% of your money for this amount. So when you hit this amount in your savings, then you hit the next level.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It was that kind of thing. It was trying to like get you up out of there.
Like almost kind of getting you set up for the outside world kind of too.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It was that type of thing. Because every people were there for all various different reasons. And this I was basically, because I was this shelter was only for Iraq and Afghanistan veterans. And at the time it was like the best shelter you could be in. Like in terms of like cleanliness. I mean, and that's not saying a lot. You know, it was still fucking awful, but it was like you got your own little tiny room. You shared a bathroom with one person, whereas like most shelters it was 3 or 4 people in the room and bunk beds and all this other shit. And so it was just that kind of thing. But I got a job at the store, and so that tided me over for a little while. Then I got fired from the store. And,
What happened?
I overslept. And I was late for like the 3rd time, and they were like wrote me up and was like, yeah, you gotta get up out of here, you know.
What did it do to your psyche to have to go to a shelter? Like, was that just like, you were like, all right, I guess I got to do this because there's no one else to sleep, or did it like really destroy, like, what did that do to you?
You know, at first it was kind of daunting, But there was a little bit of delusion there. Like I was fully convinced that all it would take was for the right person to see me, and they would just be enamored with. I mean, that's not how it ever works. But to me, it was just inevitable. It was just a matter of time, and I didn't actually start to lose that certainty until I got out of the shelter, But because things did kind of start going down and down and down, because I got fired from the store, and and that was kind of terrible because I didn't have a job now, and then I had to make these special arrangements for them to consider like comedy to be my job. So I had to like prove I was making money, and I had to take extra drug tests and piss tests and all this other shit. And it was one of them things. And then when I had first gotten there, they told you the limit was 2 years. And then when I got there, they changed it to like 9 months. After I had been there for like a year, they were like, actually the limit's 9 months, and you got to find somewhere to go.
Okay.
If you've been here longer than that, you got to find somewhere to go. It was that kind of thing. Yeah. And so, because a lot of people don't understand, like, it's a business. The homeless shelter game is a business.
And they need room for new customers.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that they need room for new customers, but it's like, it's that different grants have different stipulations, and it's all about bringing in money and spending as little as possible on the actual inhabitants. And people are making, because I'll never forget, like, when I first started getting suspicious about it, because the food was shit and the place wasn't clean, and we was always out of cleaning supplies and all this other shit. And then the guy running the place, and oftentimes people running any place that has a drug rehab or something like that, oftentimes those people are ex-addicts, and the guy running the place fucking relapsed, right? Because I think he confiscated someone's drugs that just happened to be the drug he did, and he was fucked up. Like, he was obviously fucked up.
Yeah.
Because, obviously you're around a lot of addicts, and they know when they see another, they're like, this dude. Yeah, it was one of them things. Like they were taking everyone on a field trip or something, and he showed up looking all disheveled. You know what I'm saying? Shirt half tucked in, pants unzipped, look unkept. Talking crazy to people, move over. Like he was just it was completely not his personality. Anyway, so like to smooth things over, the one of the top execs at this nonprofit that ran this shelter showed up, and this motherfucker pulled up, in a Phantom. Ooh. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Taylor suit, Rolex. I was like, wait a minute, hold on, motherfucker. You don't look like a volunteer. Yeah. Right? And it was one of them things where I realized, this is big business. And I started doing the math of just what I knew. I started doing the math, and I realized, like, they're making this much per veteran per day. And like I said, that one day I did the math. I realized, like, okay, so they're bringing in this many millions of dollars per year, and then I was like, let me just overpay everybody. So like, let's just say they pay everybody they work here. Let's say they pay everybody make six figures, $100,000, which is not any.
Which they're not,
right?
Yeah.
And even if you do that, there's still like $1.5 million left, and they are not spending that on nobody in this motherfucker, but after that incident, all of a sudden they like replace these old ass mattresses with new like memory foam, and and the meals, like the food quality slightly improved, and we had brand new cleaning supplies, and then they finally came and fixed the internet and all this other. It was a whole situation. But my point is just, at no point in that situation was I like, I made a mistake,
So for you, it truly was just the price of doing business.
Yeah, I mean, I was just convinced, like I said, delusionally though, I was just convinced that, like, my big break is coming. Like, I just got to keep focused, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't really start getting discouraged till I got out of the shelter, and till it was time for me to leave, and I was trying to find somewhere to live.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it was like the fact that I had been in the shelter made it hard to find somewhere to live.
No.
Really?
Yeah, like, because they have these programs where they'll I forget what they call it, but they'll help you like get furniture for your place or pay your for security deposit or something like that. So you got to connect them to the landlord. You know, and LA got mad slumlords and shit, and so it's like, so they know you were homeless, they know you're a veteran, and so whatever stereotypes they have about veterans, that you know, and they're not allowed to ask you.
Yeah.
But in a roundabout way, they would be like, you know, because they're scared you know you got PTSD and you're gonna turn into Rambo in your dreams and snap everybody's neck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it you know, you run into a lot of that, and even if it wasn't the veteran stuff, just the homeless stuff.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like they want to make sure you don't have a heroin problem, you know, stuff like that. But they can't directly ask you about it.
So they don't know.
So they'll just say
assume.
no.
Yeah.
Even if you got the money, because I'd gotten a settlement from the VA, and I had the money to put down my own security deposit and everything like that. But they don't give a fuck. They're like,
So what did you end up doing?
I ended up moving in. I ended up getting a place like through a friend, like taking over somebody's room.
Oh, okay.
From a different place. But you know, if you're doing that, you're not going to end up in the best situation.
Yeah.
But I didn't give a fuck. I was like, whatever.
Sleep apnea probably bothered them less when you were paying some rent.
Oh well, yeah, but no, that the house I moved in, my room was downstairs and everybody else's room was upstairs.
Okay.
So it wasn't even an issue.